Welcome back to episode 9 on how to create a Terminator effect. And this is where we left off last time. So we converted the 2D markers into 3D markers. And if you look at this, let's start the screen recording. Okay. If you look at this in 3D by pressing Tab, we can see that it is actually the camera that is moving and not the markers. And we want the opposite. We want the camera to stay still and the markers to move. So we want to convert this to become object tracking instead of camera tracking. So let's do that. This. So what we want to do is to transform these points with the opposite movement of the camera. So we start by creating a transform geo by pressing Tab and transform geo. And double click on this one. And now we have to fill in these transform values somehow. And let's start with this translate. So if you look at the camera movement, double click on that and look at the camera tab and the translate, we can see that these values are blue, and that means they are connected and driven from somewhere else. So let's type an equal, the equal sign. And then we can see the expression that is used for the camera tracking translation. And that is taking the camera tracker 1 camera translate. So this camera tracker 1 translate. So let's copy this expression. Okay, and close this window. And then we are going to do the opposite in our transform. So double click the transform, go to translate, type the equal sign, and paste in the expression we had. And we want the opposite translation, so type in a minus sign before. And do that for Y and Z as well. Equal, paste, minus, equal, paste, minus. And we also have to do the same with the rotation. So go back to the camera and look at the rotation, press equal, and here we have the expression for the camera rotation. And that is camera tracker 1 can rotate. So let's copy this one. Close the window and go to our transform. And go to rotation, press equal, and here type in the value we had. So a minus sign for the negative rotation. And do the same for all for the Y and Z. Equal, paste, minus, equal, paste, minus. So now we have a transform that is looking like it's the opposite of the camera transform. So let's try this one. So let's take these points and export this as an Alembic file, because we want to have these points later when we start to add the computer graphics geometry. So let's export this point cloud. So press Tab, type bright and select the right geo and connect this to the point cloud and double click and select the file, and here let's call this points.abc for alembic and open. Well, actually it is right, but okay. And now press execute and select only one frame because we don't want any animation, we only want the points in one instant in time. So, okay. And now we want to use this same point cloud and read it back in. So let's press tab, read geo. Okay, so we have to actually select the file. So let's go to file, select, open, select our points, double click, and here we have the points that we read back from the disk. And now connect this to our transformation. So it's the one without a label. Connect this to the read geo and select that and press 1. So now we can see that the points are moving. And let's confirm if they are moving as we expect. So let's create now a camera that is not moving and look through that camera and see if these points are moving to match the actual footage. So here I press tab, type camera, and double click. Okay, let's do the same setup we had before with a scanline render. So let's press tab, type scanline render, connect to background to our undistorted plate. So the BG to undistorted, the camera to our camera, and the object scene to our transformed point cloud. And now if we double click scanline render, press 1 and switch the viewer to 2D mode by pressing tab while hovering over the viewer. And now we can see that these points are not following the movement of the head as we had expected. So let's figure out why they are not. So let's go back to the transform. And here we can see that we just flipped the sign to be a negative, but we also need to flip the order of the transformation. So the transform order was SRT for scale, rotate, transform. So let's select the opposite. So select this and transform, rotate, scale. Transform, rotate, scales, the opposite order. And do the same with the rotation. So this is Z, X, Y. And let's select Y, X, Z. Y, X, Z. And let's see. Okay, so it's a little bit better, but it's still not following the movement. So the next step is to make sure that our camera is matching the camera that we used when we took this footage. So double click the camera, go to the projection, and here we can see that this is a default 24 by 18 millimeter lens. So millimeter back. So let's look at the one we had before. Camera 1, double click and projection. And here we can see we had 18.96 by 10 millimeter. So let's use that for our new camera. Double click camera 2, go to projection, 18.96 by 10. Okay. So now we can see that these points are following the plate. Let's save and look at these in 3-dimensional space. And now we can see the camera is not moving, but the points are moving. So the next step here now is to put our objects here where we have the points. And that will be the next lesson number 10. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you next.